Hi, I'm Zink Dee, and I wanted to post a video lesson today to kind of piggyback on what we were talking about in my last video lesson. Last time it was about playing with confidence by knowing the notes of the guitar, the note names of the guitar all over the neck. And I showed you this little grid chart here that you can use to find every note name all over the guitar. And so what I want to do today is actually show you how to use it by continuing this thought process, this chart, and tell you about what I call the logic of the guitar and the layout of the guitar. In the last lesson, I started out talking about this by introducing the idea that somebody who'd never played piano before, I can show you the layout of the piano in 30 seconds, and from then on you'll know where all the notes are. And I talked about the groups of 2s and 3 black keys and how you can find any note in any octave because the 2s and 3s always repeat. And once you understand that, you understand the logic of the piano and you know how to find every note very simply. The problem is that the guitar, while it does have a logic to it, I don't think that it's anything that we come to it expecting. The guitar logic, as I view it, is not this way, is not, let's call this horizontal. The logic is not horizontal, and it's not vertical. It's not this way. You can find things, you can do your scales that way. You can do your scales that way too. But I don't think that that helps you to understand the logic of the guitar. In my mind, and in the way that I play and in the way that I approach teaching the guitar, the logic of it is in diagonal sections. So I think of the guitar having 3 diagonal sections and what I call low, mid, and high, to take the terms borrowed from the equalizer. So what we did last time, we talked about how to find all these notes by using octave relationships, because you probably know where to find all the octave relationships. Well, that's what I'm using to explain and to conceptualize the different registers of the guitar, or the different logic layout of the guitar. So I'm going to move this over a little bit so that you can see the chart, and I'll show you, what I'm talking about, how I mean all this. Okay, so this is a very similar chart to what we were using in the last lesson, with all of the notes already filled in to where to look for all these notes. Now what I've got on this chart is, like from last time, all the G's. So we've got a G, 6th string, 3rd fret, move the octave over, 4th string, 5th fret, move the octave over, 2nd string, 8th fret, back the octave, 3 strings over and 2 frets higher is the 10th fret on the 5th string. There's a G. Now the traditional octave, 2 over, 2 up, 3rd string, which is the G string on the 12th fret. There's the G. Then we go an octave above this, 2 strings over, and now 3 frets higher because it crosses over the 2nd string. So we're on the 15th fret, 1st string, that's our G. And then it starts all over again with whatever's on the 1st string is also the same thing on the 6th string, G on the 15th fret. Move over the octave, over 2 strings, up 2 frets, 4th string, 17th fret. And at this point I'm not even counting, but that's the G all over the neck. So the way that I use it, I think of the guitar having 3 different registers. It's not really in one position because it's not this way, like I said before, and it's not this way. It's this dot here, this root note, this one, and this one. So let me just circle those because that's how the guitar is laid out in my mind. So there's the low register, the middle register, and then the high register. So to give you an idea of how I would use this, I'll take a guitar lick, just an idea, that will take G, A, B, and D. So we'll take these four notes, G on the 3rd fret, A on the 5th fret, B on the 7th fret, and then D on the 5th string, 5th fret. So that shape is going to repeat itself, is going to duplicate now the next octave. And so with the exact same fingering that you use to play this one, you're going to play this. G, A, B, and D. So just how this first one looks kind of like a triangle this way, the second one has the same shape, the triangle shape. And then the 3rd octave of this same pattern is G on the 8th fret, A on the 10th fret, B on the 12th fret, and then on the 10th fret of the 1st string is your D. So now the shape that you have, that you play, you've got 3 different places to play in a way that it makes sense. And I think this is the logic of the guitar. So when you get used to seeing whatever idea is here and knowing how it duplicates here and how it duplicates here, I think that also gives you a little bit more confidence in how to play it, how you're actually going to use it, because it's not random, and you see that there's a rhyme and a reason to it. So when I play chords and leads and just different things on the guitar, I think of the low 2 strings here, the 5th and the 6th string, as being my bass register. If I'm playing classical guitar, if I'm playing jazz guitar, even folk guitar, strumming guitar, I'll make these 2 strings where I play my bass note. These 2 strings, the 4th and the 3rd string, are where I play the harmonies. So I'll play the chord shapes. I'll do maybe a little intricate inner pattern to make the harmony jump out. And then this 1st and 2nd string is where I use leads. So if I want to have a melody superimposed over top of a walking bass line or a chord progression, I have the first 2 strings for that. And I think that it helps me when I'm coming up with those kinds of things to separate and see how they separate. And that's how I keep the registers of the guitar straight in my head. It helps me to play it. It helps me to explain it. It helps everything stay in a in a compartment. I mean, I can always jump over a string and go get something on the 4th string if I need a bass note. I can play a lead note on the 3rd string if I need to. So nothing here is set in stone, but it just helps me to get a really clear layout of how the guitar is set up. And I try to explain this to all my starting out students as well, so that you don't feel overwhelmed at how much there is to know and that all these different notes have names. No, they only have names up to here. Then whatever this is the same set of notes. Whatever this is the same set of notes. So in fact, when I practice my modes, when I practice my scales, I typically will only play one in 1 octave. So I'll play let's say the major scale on C. So this is G-A-B. So C, D, E, F, and G. Then A, B, and C. Well, at that C, I'm an octave above where I started here. So what I'll do then is work it out so that if I start this with my second finger, I end this on my second finger. I'll usually take my first finger and slide up here so that my second finger starts off and my hand is in exactly the same position that it was back here. So if I'm playing this 2-4, 1-2-4 finger-wise in a C major scale, I get the 6th to the 7th notes of the scale with my first finger, so I'm back to the second finger to start. And then my finger already knows this, 2-4, 1-2-4, and then now I just have to know this, that I'm sliding up a fret in my mind, but then I'm 1, 3, 4 here. And so that note puts me an octave above this one. But I'm not playing that with my pinky. I'm playing 1, slide up 1. This is 2 all over again. And now I've got 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, and then if I want to do the rest of this 1, 3, 4, now I'm up to the highest C, which at this point the logic kind of falls apart. But from this circle to this circle to this circle is plenty of logic that keeps me learning one finger shape for the scale and getting 3 octaves out of it. As opposed to a lot of us, the way that we learn scales, we learned ba 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 ba, and then ba 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 ba, like that. And we learned these different scales. What you're actually doing is playing 2 different scales. From here to here, you're playing the major scale. You're using the major scale fingering. But from here to here, well, this is still part of the major scale. So from this one, you got 1, 3, 4, 2, 4, 1, 3. That is the Dorian scale. So if you know your modes and what it would be if you started on A, well, imagine your fingers down here. You're playing index, ring finger, pinky, index, ring, 2 notes, and then over here you're sliding down and going 1, 2. That's what you're doing here. You're going index, ring, pinky. Here, because the fret changes, you have to change the fingering, but then you're ending it up with 1, 2. So even though I learned all my modes and my scales this way, I now don't practice them that way, and I don't teach them that way to my students. I'll show that to them and say, this is how, this is one way to look at it. But I find I get much better results by playing 1 octave, sliding up to the next octave, sliding up to the next octave. All right, so I hope that's helpful for you. This is more of what we're going to do with getting the confidence on the guitar. I really enjoy working with this stuff. So if you have any questions, you could send me a question through Facebook at Zink Dee. You could send me a question on the comments here. You want to subscribe, but you're more than welcome to. And otherwise, I'll try to keep some of these videos coming up maybe once a week or so. So let me know that you're getting something out of it. All right? So thanks so much for watching today. I'm Zink Dee. Keep playing, and by all means, enjoy the journey.